Every single morning, millions of people wake up already defeated. Before they've eaten, before they've spoken a word, before the day has even started. They lie there running a mental checklist of everything that could go wrong. The emails they haven't answered, the bills stacking up, the relationship that's fraying at the edges, the job that's going nowhere. And underneath all of it, this quiet, gnawing sense that they have no control. Here's what nobody tells you. That feeling isn't a personal failure. It's not a chemical imbalance. It's not even anxiety. It's a philosophy problem. Over 2,000 years ago, a group of thinkers developed a framework for the mind so powerful that Roman emperors used it to govern empires. Slaves used it to survive chains. Soldiers used it to face death. And today, it might be the most important thing you've never been taught. This is Stoicism. And in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to give you 3 of its most powerful weapons. Tools you can use before you finish watching this video. Let's get into it. Epictetus was born a slave in ancient Rome. Let that land for a moment. A man with no legal rights, no freedom of movement, no say in where he went, what he did, or who owned him. And yet, he became one of the most psychologically free human beings who ever lived. How? He understood one thing that most people spend their entire lives missing. There are things within your control, and there are things outside of it. That's it. That's the whole key. Epictetus wrote, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." Here's what he meant. Your opinions, your intentions, your effort, your response to events, those are yours. Completely, fully, irreversibly yours. Everything else? The weather, other people's opinions, traffic, market crashes, what your boss thinks of you, what strangers say behind your back, not yours. Never was, never will be. Let's make it modern. You're sitting in traffic, running late for a meeting that matters. Your pulse is up. You're cursing under your breath. You're already drafting apologies in your head and rehearsing excuses. Now, Epictetus steps into the passenger seat. He doesn't tell you to calm down. He asks you one question. Which part of this traffic is within your control? The answer, of course, is none of it. Not one single car. Not one red light. What is in your control? Whether you called ahead, whether you left earlier, whether you use these 20 minutes to think clearly instead of burning through cortisol. This is the dichotomy of control. And practicing it is simple, though not easy. The next time you feel your stress spike, pause. Ask yourself, is this thing in my control or isn't it? If it is, act. If it isn't, release it. Not because you're passive, but because pouring energy into what you cannot change is the definition of suffering. Epictetus didn't escape his chains by breaking them. He escaped them by refusing to let them define him. That freedom is available to you right now. Marcus Aurelius ruled over one of the greatest empires in human history. He commanded armies. He decided the fates of millions. He had more power than almost any human being who had ever lived. And for most of his reign, everything went wrong. Plague swept through his cities and killed millions of his people. Wars erupted on nearly every frontier. Political betrayal came from people he trusted. His own son, Commodus, would go on to become one of Rome's most notorious tyrants. And yet, in the pages of his private journal, a book he never intended anyone to read, Marcus Aurelius wrote something that stops people cold when they first encounter it. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is the concept of Amor Fati, a Latin phrase that translates as love your fate, not tolerate it, not endure it, love it. Now, that sounds like madness. Love the setbacks? Love the loss? Love the failure? Marcus wasn't suggesting you pretend bad things are good. He was saying something far more radical. That your relationship to what happens to you shapes your reality more than the events themselves. A crisis that breaks one man forges another. Same event. Two different philosophies inside the mind. Think about the last significant obstacle in your life. Not a small inconvenience. An actual wall. A job loss. A breakdown in a relationship. A health scare. A plan that collapsed entirely. Now ask yourself honestly, did it contain anything useful? A lesson? A redirection? A forced growth you wouldn't have chosen but can't now imagine not having? Most people, looking back, will say yes. Amor Fati doesn't ask you to feel good about hardship in the moment. It asks you to trust that the obstacle is material, that it can be used, that nothing that happens to you has to be wasted. Marcus carried an empire on his shoulders and never cracked. Not because life was kind to him, but because he refused to be a victim of it. Seneca was one of the wealthiest men in Rome, advisor to emperors, celebrated playwright, author of some of the most piercing philosophy ever written. And once a month, he would dress in rough clothing, eat the simplest food available, and live for several days as if he had nothing. Not because he had to, because he chose to. He called it voluntary discomfort. And he wrote to a friend, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare. This is not a punishment, but a medicine." Here's the problem with modern comfort. It has a hidden cost. Every time life gets soft, your tolerance for difficulty shrinks. Slowly, quietly. And one day, when something genuinely hard lands on you, you break. Voluntary discomfort is a vaccine for the mind. By choosing small hardships today, you build an iron immunity against the massive crises of tomorrow. Stoicism isn't about hiding your emotions or becoming a robot. It is about building an unshakable inner fortress. When you master the dichotomy of control, you stop bleeding energy into things you cannot change. When you practice Amor Fati, you transform every single obstacle into fuel for your growth. And when you invite voluntary discomfort into your life, you realize that you are far stronger than your fears. The world will continue to be chaotic. The traffic will still be bad, people will still be difficult, and plans will still fall apart. But none of that matters anymore. Because you no longer have a philosophy problem. You have an iron mind. Go out and build it today.